So, anybody else out there missing their extra hour of sleep? No? Just me? Okay, let's go. Well, we're gonna talk about it. Stay right here. Shani speaks now. Ooh, yeah. Shani speaks now. Ooh, Shani speaks now. It's Shani on Shani Speaks Now. What's good, beautiful people? It's your girl Shani here, your little big sis, because while I may be small in stature, I am big on the sisterly love. And welcome to another amazing edition of Always Keep the Faith Fridays, where your girl does her best to get you from your work week to your Friday, my just favorite day of the week, if I should say so myself, going into your weekend. How y'all doing? How you been? I hope that you all are doing well. I hope for some of you that are in like those colder areas, the weather is maybe warming up a little bit. Florida's been a little bipolar with the weather, so 1 minute it wants to be hot, 1 minute it wants to be cold, but you know what? I'm rolling with it because I know this weather is better here than in a lot of other places. My faith fam, thank you all so much for being here from week to week. Whenever I have an episode of anything drop, I appreciate your support and continuing to leave comments. And to anyone who is new to this channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. You are so welcome here. I hope that you will subscribe to my channel. Be sure that you like, share, and also you can follow me on social media on Instagram or on all the socials at shanispeaksnow.com. So let's connect. Let's be friends, digital friends. Also, don't forget that while I love for you to watch me here on YouTube, you can also listen to me on your favorite podcast app. My podcast is Shani Speaks Now, the podcast. Listen whenever you have an opportunity. Sometimes driving in the car for me or cleaning is the best podcast time. So definitely check mine out. Now, roughly about 2 weeks ago now, we had daylight savings time. And depending on who you are, you either love it or hate it. Most people that I know that, birds of a feather flock together, we are not necessarily so excited about the time going up and us losing an hour. But you know what? It is what it is. I think for me, it's just that I'm a night owl. I am up all kinds of the night and morning. So whenever I lose that hour, it's even worse. I just feel like I get less sleep for sure. And I mean, while I do like it to be a little bit sunnier later in the day, I prefer just to get that extra hour of sleep or that extra hour of just whatever-ness. I need all 24 hours, okay? I feel like you take one away when you do this. But no matter how we feel about it, it's gonna happen, okay? This is what we need to know, that no matter what, until they change something, daylight savings time is here to stay. However, as I looked into exactly why we even have daylight savings time, because truth be told, I never knew, I just followed the rules, I realized that maybe there's a deeper purpose to it. Or maybe I'm just deep. Either way, we're gonna get into a little something, so keep it locked right here. So believe it or not, even though daylight savings time can sometimes seem like a nuisance, especially on your sleep, because I'll be honest, I am dragging still, okay? It's a little sluggish, it's a little harder. I find myself getting sleepier and I look at the time and I'm like, well, it's really 9 o'clock, even though it says 8 o'clock, my body feels like it's 9 o'clock. But there really are true purposes to daylight savings time. One part is to actually conserve energy, because obviously when you have more daylight, there's certain things that you just don't need the light for. And also it's just to make better use of our time during the day. When people have more light, they're more likely to be out and about and to do more things. And, which I never knew or thought about until I kind of looked into it a little bit, apparently it also helps with the crime rate. You guessed it. People are least likely to do crimes when it's lighter outside. They want to wait till the nighttime hours to do their crimes. So it helps with the crime rate. And also it overall helps people who may have other things to do in the evenings after they get off work. A lot of times people play sports or they work out or they like to walk and be active. Even kids that have games for school, whatever the case may be. So there is a purpose, there's a reason for daylight savings time. So regardless of what track you're on, whether you love it because you're one of those early bird type people, or whether you're like me, a little bit of a night owl who just likes that extra hour of sleep, there's a purpose for it. But what I realized as I was looking at it more than anything, and also thinking about the fact that there could be two sides of this coin or two camps, is that it really comes down to your perspective, how you see it, and what you think about it. So as we talk about perspective, you're looking at, am I really losing an hour or am I gaining daylight? Depending on what you want, really depends on how you see it. But one of the things that I realized is not just with this, but perspective is everything for everything. Whether something is a loss or a win, whether something is a gain, ultimately comes down to how you see that specific thing. There are so many things in life that happen that ultimately we may feel like we failed. We may feel like we are defeated. We may feel like we're never going to see the light of day from this specific thing. And most times it's really just a season. However, if we flip or change our perspective on it, we may be able to see that there was really a lesson learned. There was truly something gained opposed to loss. And ultimately, as terrible as that thing may have been, we might be better for it now than we were before it happened. Ultimately, for you to be able to see that or look at anything like that, you have to change your perspective. How we view a situation or a circumstance really depends on how we look at it. So I'm asking you today, even though I use daylight savings time as an example or an illustration, is there something in your life right now that you may need to change your perspective on how you look at it? Is there something that may have happened to you that you realize, it's really not as bad as I thought it was? Or maybe you realize it is as bad as you thought it was. But ultimately, let's take some time to be a little bit more optimistic and to change our perspectives on some of the things that we have filter into our lives. And hey, who knows? Maybe one of these days I will be, and you even will be, a lover of daylight savings time just because we changed our perspective. So what's this week's faith fact? Our losses or gains in life all depend on how we change our perspective. A lot of times I find myself to be the person who is an eternal optimist, and I think I've talked about this before. For me, the glass is always half full, all right? I always got a little bit of juice left, a little bit of water left. For other people, look, they need a little bit more. They may be a little bit more pessimistic, or they may be a little bit more cautious, or they may be a little bit more calculated. And that's okay. That's the reason why all of us are here. There has to be some balance. If everybody was an eternal optimist, then we would never see things sometimes as real as they need to be. And also, if everyone saw something in more of a pessimistic light, then there wouldn't be someone to be able to cheer you on or allow you to see the opposite side of things. But ultimately, I challenge you just to change your perspective. If there's something that you've been kind of challenged with or struggling with lately, take a look at it from front to back and decide, okay, is there a way that I can tweak my perspective on this specific thing and maybe see what it is that I can gain from it, or see what it is that can benefit me in some way, shape, or form. And hopefully in doing that, overall, even if whatever it is isn't the best, you'll be able to feel a little bit better about what it is that you're learning and be able to grow from it in the end. Well, guys, that is it for this week's episode of Always Keep the Faith Fridays. I hope that you enjoyed that little tidbit. I still hope that I can catch up on my sleep, though. I ain't gonna lie. Just because I changed my perspective don't mean that I'm in love with daylight savings time yet. But hopefully it'll get better, because obviously we'll get used to it. I got another 7 months left of it, so it is what it is. But I hope that you all enjoyed this episode, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe, not only this episode, but my page. I'm trying to get the subscribers up. Your girl is trying to hopefully get to that 1,000 so that I can be monetized sooner than later. So help me do that. Help me help you, help me help you. Okay, never mind. Forget I even said that. And if you're new to this channel, thank you in advance for subscribing. I'm so glad that you were able to watch this episode, and hopefully you'll stick around and check out a couple more episodes. You don't have to just watch me. You can listen to my podcast, Shanice Speaks Now, the podcast, and follow me on Instagram or on all the socials at Shanice Speaks Now. I hope that you have some great spring plans for the rest of this weekend. Enjoy it, whatever you do, and be safe. And hey, at least you have a little bit more daylight to be able to do it with, okay? Perspective change. I love you all, and you know how we end with the motto. Always keep the faith and let the Lord fight your battles. Until next time, take care. Peace. Thanks for watching, Faith Fam. Be sure to subscribe, share, and like this episode, and I'll see you back on my channel soon.